What is up, y'all? And welcome back to Seton Hill Studios. Hope you're having an amazing weekend so far. So, something a little different on the channel today. We are going to be taking a look at 5 of my favorite guitar solos that I just can't stop listening to here lately. So, all 5 of these guitar players are absolutely just knock your socks off, leave you breathless, incredible. And these solos are an absolute showcase of their abilities. So I'm excited for y'all to hear them. I'm always excited to listen to them. These are the ones that I just default to when I want to hear some cool guitar. These are the 5 places that I've been going lately. And man, they're not going to let you down. If you love guitar and you haven't heard these, you're going to want to hear them. If you have heard them, hey, it's worth a listen again. But before we get into it, a few ways you guys can continue to support the channel. Right down below, you can hit that subscribe button. It's an easy and free way to show some love and support. You can also head on over to Patreon and become a member there. If that doesn't work for you right here on YouTube, you can become a channel member. Both of those are going to get you access to priority requests as well as other perks and features. And then, as always, with a one-time donation through Buy Me a Coffee, you can get a guaranteed request that either Steven or I will check out right here on the channel. All right, y'all, I'm excited for you to hear these, and I am ready to listen, so let's get into it. All right, y'all, here we go. First up, we've got Rabia Mad with his solo from actually a track that was just released just a few weeks ago, actually. And I checked it out, and the whole track is amazing, but the guitar solo is especially good in this song. It's called IDDQD. For those of you who don't know, maybe aren't gamers, that is the cheat code for the game Doom that basically puts you in God mode. And this song was clearly inspired by the type of music that Mick Gordon did with the Doom Eternal soundtrack, and it goes hard. He pulled out all the stops with this one. And the solo, all right, man, I'm ready to hear it. It comes in hard, so just prepare yourself. Filthy riff, man. Whew. That's probably the shortest solo on this list, but man, he puts in work in those few seconds there. I mean, he's doing it all. He's sweep picking, he's quick alternate picking, tapping lines, and it's not just little tapping lines. Oh, I'm just hitting, 2 notes and tapping 2 frets up. Like, no, he's tapping up and down the entire fretboard. His tone is phenomenal. Well deserved that he got his signature model with Ernie Ball. I've actually loved to get one in my hands and get a feel for it and play it because everything that I've heard, it sounds amazing. But yeah, he's so good. I His playing is very unique to me. Just in the way that he attacks the strings. He attacks the strings so heavily, and I love it because I'm like a heavy-handed player, but he just digs in and just wrings every last ounce of tone out of it. His vibrato is amazing. The bends, he can shred, he can play super tastefully. I just love this one because it's flashy, it's fun, and he puts on an absolute clinic in like 40 seconds of all the techniques that most guitar players want to know how to do, especially if they want to know how to shred. So yeah, this one, again, this list is in no particular order, but I wanted to come out the gates with a bang on this one, and whew, he didn't let us down. He never does. Absolutely killer solo. All right, folks. Next up, the legendary Steve Morse. This song is called The Storm, and it's from a group he was with called Flying Colors. So this was a super group that formed with just some incredible musicians. So we got Steve Morse on guitar, we got Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater playing the drums, Dave LaRue on bass, Neil Morse singing and playing keys, and then Casey McPherson is the lead singer and is also playing guitar. So just titans, absolute monsters on their instruments and vocals. And this song is amazing. It's an awesome song. If you've never heard it, you should check it out. But this solo is just classic Steve Morse. His phrasing, his technique, his tone, just everything about this solo is fantastic. So let's get into it and check it out. Man, I think some of the audio was desynced from the camera shot there, which was unfortunate for this live show. But, dude, oh my gosh, jeez, man, his tone is it's incredible. It doesn't matter if he's on the bridge pickup, if he's on the neck pickup. If you know anything about his guitar, it has like 11 different pickup combinations, but they all sound good. I actually owned one in the past. The only reason that I didn't really stick with it is because it has a really small neck and I have giant hands. And so it wasn't super comfortable for me to play, but everything about that guitar was amazing. I mean, you just heard it. The tone is stunning. The playing is remarkable. I love the way he just, out of nowhere, he'll just be shredding super fast licks, and then all of a sudden he just throws a bend in there, and it all just comes to a stop, and he just rings so much out of one note. It's so melodic. The first time I really heard like those real fast groups of three patterns was John Petrucci, who is probably my all-time favorite guitar player, but he took a lot of influence from Steve Morse, and that's one of the things right there, those real quick three patterns, almost like quick triplet pickups into the next measure, and he could string them together like no other. He's really well known for like his crazy fast alternate picking of arpeggios that a lot of people would sweep pick, and he alternate picks it. So we heard a little bit of that in this solo, but my gosh, man, I could listen to that solo 1,000 times and just never get bored. And there's not enough time in the world to really dissect it. And it's not something that is easily replicated. He's unique and revered for a reason. And you just heard why. He's incredible. All right, keeping it moving. This is Andy Timmons, and this solo is from When Words Fail. And this one is probably, probably my favorite, like, non-rock solo. Now, he's a big-time rock guitar player, but he's also so soulful, so melodic. And when he plays more ballad and blues type stuff, it'll bring a tear to your eye, man. His phrasing, when I think about guitar phrasing, the first name that always comes to mind for me is Andy Timmons. He phrases lines so vocally and so melodically. I've never heard another guitar player that I feel like has the phrasing and just musical vocabulary that this guy has. He is unbelievable. This might be the longest solo of the group, but it is worth paying attention to every second. He absolutely crushes this. So let's check it out. Oh man, he's he's unreal. Like I everything about that. He's so he he's so unique in the way that he approaches the instrument. So you can hear a lot of influences in there, right? You clearly hear some Jimmy, you hear some Stevie Ray Vaughan influence, but even beyond that, like you hear it at the base level, like clearly he was influenced by these guys, but he's just taken it and he's ran so far with it. And this, honestly, he can shred. He can shred with the best of them. And you saw a little bit of it in this, but the phrasing and the movement all over the fretboard. I mean, he's up there bending notes at the 17th fret and then just back down at like the second and fourth fret in the same phrases. And he'll do like these pre bends and he'll do bends that quickly come down and walk up, almost an octave to another bend. And it's just, oh, and it sounds so simple, right? I'm talking about it, and some people may be like, "Oh, well, that sounds rather simple." Try it. It's not. It's just not. But just man, the technical expertise, all of what he's doing, and he's hitting all the right notes. He's not mispicking and mishitting with his right hand. It's super clean. Don't even get me started on his tone. That right there, that's the tone for me. That's the tone. I just want that tone forever and nothing else, and I could live. That's like a desert island tone. It's just, oh man. Whew. All right, we got to keep it moving though. We still got a couple more to go, but God bless Andy Timmons, man. Whew. All right, y'all. You know we couldn't have a video about my favorite guitar solos without an Eric Johnson one in there. So this is a song that I've been going back to for probably 20 years. The first time I heard it, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things to do with tone, melodic playing, and specifically slide playing. So this song, he tears up an amazing solo to open it up. Then there's a short interlude, and then he plays one of the most melodic, tasteful slide solos that I've ever heard. And I'd never heard anything like this. I'd always associated slide with like jangly country stuff, and I never knew that it could sound like this. So I'm super excited for you to hear it. I've actually never seen this live version of it. So this ought to be really cool. He usually sticks pretty close when he's doing stuff live, but there's always little nuances and stuff. So I'm excited to see what we can pick up on here. Let's get into it. Seemed like it was a little longer than a normal solo. That was awesome. Hey, he even threw some false harmonic harp guitar stuff in there at the end just for good measure. Man, his tone, it's just distinctly Eric Johnson. Like nobody has that tone. I don't know how he does it with a Strat and gets this big, full girthy sound out of it like he does, but It's a pleasure to listen to. I love Eric Johnson. He is one of my favorite guitar players of all time, and as you can see, why he's so melodic. His technique is so good. His phrasing is really good. He didn't really do any of like the blazing fast pentatonic stuff in this version that he's kind of known for. There is a lick at the very end of that solo that he didn't do, and I was like, oh, I was kind of missing it because I've heard the solo 1,000 times, and there's a lightning fast run at the end of that, but he didn't do it this time. He replaced it with some cool where he's like parsing out the triads there, and he's known for that. So like he'll make a triad and he'll do it across multiple octaves, almost like a chord, but he'll treat it like single notes, and it's a distinctive part of his sound. And then the slide stuff, man, I didn't when I first heard this, like I said earlier, I didn't know that slide could be played that way. I'd always associated with kind of jangly country stuff, and when I heard this for the first time, and I heard like this smooth, kind of pure, really close to like a violin type sound, and I was like, wow, you can do that. And so that's kind of what encouraged me to really even want to experiment or learn slide guitar. And I was like, that's the kind of slide guitar that I like. Nothing against any other kind of slide playing. Got mad respect for it. Playing slide is extremely difficult, but this is way more up my alley. Just the more sustained melodic. There was times where he was just all over that neck. Just blending notes into each other and running it just with the sustain coming from his amp and his guitar, just holding on between notes, just spectacular. That is an amazing solo, and I could listen to it over and over, just stick it on repeat. I mean, I keep coming back to it anyways. Why not? All right, y'all. If you look, it's hard not to recognize this guy. He's got a very distinct look, very distinct guitar, and a very distinct style of playing. It's Guthrie Govan with his song Fives. Now, this is a wild, wild song. The entire thing's in 5/4, which is already difficult enough to play. But this is what I would call guitar acrobatics. You know how sometimes you play or you do anything, sports or music or art or whatever, and you're like, oh man, I'm doing pretty good. And I sound great. I'm awesome. This is the video that you come to realize you got a long way to go. Guthrie Govan is one of the most insane guitar players that I've ever heard, and I've heard a lot of guitar players. And there's a lot of amazing ones out there, but this dude, I, this is the most fun, the wildest of the bunch, and yeah, let's just hear it, man. This. I mean, I don't know if the man is human. That, uh, if you haven't checked this dude out or you don't know who he is, this is not all he can do. He's a very, very talented writer and melodic player. This is just one that I listen to sometimes to keep my own ego in check. Um, I mean, I got it's just wild from start to finish, right? So he's playing the entire thing, like I said, in 5/4. He's doing all this just crazy finger tapping stuff while the drums are going in the back, and it's all just wild. It's not even on the beat. I don't even understand. I've counted it out, and it still doesn't really make sense. My brain is just not on the same level as them to not only sit down and attempt to play something like this, but just to write it in the first place is bananas. But I mean, you talk about stringing licks together and just nonstop stamina. I mean, look at his face right there. He looks like he needs to go like take a nap after that. Um, I just yeah, he's a he's a one in a million kind of guitar player. Um, Yeah. I could try to break it down and analyze it, but there's so much going on that I can't replicate, and some of it that I don't even necessarily understand. This is one of those ones where you just sit back, listen, and say, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I'm never going to be able to play like that. Just wild stuff, man, but so fun, so flashy, so fun to listen to, and just enjoy what people can do. I mean, I got nothing but respect for this dude. He's absolutely insane. Again, I don't even know if he's human. All right, y'all. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed those as much as I did. Again, these are just some solos that I tend to gravitate towards. I can't really stop listening to them. Don't want to stop listening to them because they just blow you away. Every single one of them brought something different and amazing to the table, but yet they were all just incredible. I mean, there wasn't a bad note played in all of that. Um, wow. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever sat down and listened to all five of those solos back to back like that. But it's just, man, I love the guitar. I just love it. And we got to see so many different facets of it today, at least from like a rock and blues, electric guitar kind of perspective. Let me know in the comments, y'all. Did y'all enjoy these solos? Are these ones that you would find yourself listening to? Tell me some of y'all's favorite solos because I'd love to check them out. Y'all are always giving us great recommendations in the comments, and I'd love to hear some other stuff. Expanding your knowledge and, branching out and listening to stuff is really what we're all about here. I love getting introduced to new stuff or reintroduced to stuff that I haven't heard in a while and forgot about. So let me know down in the comments, what are some of y'all's favorite solos, and did you enjoy these? All right, though, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so every time we drop new content, you guys can be aware. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.